Yo, so normally what I do when we have a Monday night game, and this week we had a Thursday and a Monday night game. So normally I pre-record the Thursday night game, and then and then I do all the rest of the people, and then I do the Monday night game and let's put them all together, right? Well, Lamar decides to do this.
Gotta go down for the ball, and then he gets free. Splits everybody, and look at this. Action Jackson still rolling and then getting up and coming just short of the goal line.
I think the first thing we're going to notice, watch these two guys inside.
Whole nother setup. So I had to break my whole video down. And this Lamar Jackson segment is going to be pretty long. So this probably be a longer video. Hopefully I can get all as much as I want to say because he wasn't the only one that played. So let's get into it. Black Quarterback Series. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Y'all know what I do Sundays. Well, not Sundays. Thursdays we had a big time AFC South matchup. It was pretty much the AFC South championship game. Wasn't the most exciting of games, but it was a good game. It won't go down as like, oh my God, the best game ever, but it was a pretty good game. So we had the Colts and we had Houston. We had Jacoby Brissett versus Deshaun Watson. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the Colts made a point of running the ball. We're gonna run the ball down your throat. What are you gonna do about it? So they had one drive where they ran the ball 10 times and only threw the ball once. Jacoby Brissett made some great plays in this game. T.Y. dropped two critical passes, man. Like, Jacoby put them all right on the button and he dropped both of them. You can tell T.Y. is still hurt, but I don't think that's the reason he dropped the two passes, though. Like, the two passes he dropped, you like, oh my God, T.Y., well, how did you drop those? So, they just didn't have enough. They went for it on fourth down with less than 3 minutes to go. Ended up having to take a critical timeout within 3 minutes, which really hindered them on the other side, on the defensive end, because they went for it on the fourth down. They didn't get it. And then Houston was able to take the clock all the way down to the end. And so let's move on to the Houston side. Deshaun Watson did not play well the first half. I don't know what. He made some he lucked up this game because he had some Jameis Winston type turnovers. He could have had some Jameis Winston type turnovers this game. A couple dropped interceptions. You just looking at him like, what are you doing? You know what? I'm sorry. Let me go back. Jacoby Brissett's stat line was 16 for 25, 129 yards, and 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. So make sure I get that out to y'all first. So let's get back to Deshaun. Yeah, I don't know what he was seeing, but then he settled down. Got himself together. Had some big time performances from Hopkins. 6 receptions, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Some huge plays by Will Fuller. Some big time third downs. It was a 50-yard bomb that he threw, and Fuller caught it with the defense all in his face. I'm like, oh my God, how did you make that catch? Will Fuller, 7 receptions, 144 yards. No, 140 yards, my bad. So he had some help today. But at the beginning of the game, you could just tell he was getting no help. He was running around for his life. And until the offensive line settled down and gave him time. Offensive line finally gave him time. And he was able to sit back there, dial the ball up, and end up winning the game. So his stat line doesn't look the best either, but it was much better than it was last week. 19 for 30, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And that pick was awful. The pick was like, Deshaun, what are you looking at? And that's what I'm saying. He could have had 2 more of those type picks. So that was Thursday Night Football. Houston ends up winning 20-17. So it's Thursday. So let's get on to the future and see Sunday me. Y'all enjoy the rest of the games. Lamar Jackson, man. He's the MVP now. He's the front runner for the MVP because our boy Russell hasn't been. He hasn't lost, but he just hasn't played as well as he should have. He just hasn't shown up in the last couple games. He's played well when he's needed to, but he hasn't had those spectacular MVP type plays that he was having at the beginning. Lamar is just doing crazy stuff. Like I was not expecting to see a 5-touchdown game. A 5-touchdown game, no turnovers. That's the best part about it. No turnovers, and he's doing it from the pocket. He had 8 attempts for 95 yards, but he did that out of necessity. It was a couple of design runs, but it got to the point where we got our boy RG3 in there, who also played. He didn't do much of nothing, but I just wanted to mention him. So his numbers, 15 for 20, 169 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. And it's different because 5 passing touchdowns are different from 5 rushing touchdowns. So, and he's on pace to beat Michael Vick's record of rushing yards, just to blow it out the water, like on some Steph Curry shattering his own 3-point record, blow it out the water. Like it is ridiculous. So I was talking to my uncle about this game. We was video chatting, and he said something that really was encapsulated everything I was gonna say. So I'm gonna show y'all that video, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, Baltimore is dominating, and Lamar Jackson looked like he got just complete control of the offense. Looked like Baltimore got control of the game. The Rams had 2 good drives, but both their drives stalled, and they got 3 points both times, so it's 28-6. See, when Baltimore playing like this, you almost are not going to get enough possessions to even catch up with them. If Baltimore get up on you 3 touchdowns, the game is damn near over. Lamar Jackson is a cheat code because when he drop back to pass, if your coverage is there, then he will scramble out to the side and he can just run away from any defensive lineman. So he'll run, just sprint toward the sideline, but keep his eyes downfield. And if a person don't come open and he don't have a lane to run, he just throw it away. He wear the defensive lineman out. What wear defensive lineman out? A scrambling quarterback and a punishing rushing attack. They got both. So Aaron Donald and them, man, getting wore out. They getting wore out. You know what I'm saying? So, and then if you overcommit, because you're like, okay, we got to make a play. You overcommit, then it open up right in the middle, and he just take off. He got 83 rushing yards in the first half. It was crazy. He ripped off 2 big runs, and then he had 2 smaller ones. But those 2 smaller ones hurt just as much as the big ones. Because the smaller ones, you're like, damn, we can't catch this dude. You know what I'm saying? They tagged him one time. He got to get his ass out of bounds. He got tagged by that corner, man. And I know Harbaugh was like, oh, like, no, man, don't. But then check this out how he learned. The next time, that time he had sprinted out to the left and he didn't get out of bounds. He was getting ready to go out of bounds, and that I think it was number 20, whatever that cornerback's name is, tagged him. Woo! I mean, he lit Lamar up, right? Luckily, it was a body shot. It wasn't a head shot, but Lamar went flying out of bounds. He got up like, hey, it's all good, it's all good. Then the next time he scrambled out to the right. And then just as that corner was getting ready to come up, he did his devastating juke move, but he juked out of bounds. He got out of bounds real quick. He got the first down and pop. So if he does that, like he knows, but I think maybe somebody should tell him, if you run away from the defensive lineman and you get out of bounds, they don't get a chance to hit you, they hurt. They hurt. Because you already got the yards on them. Now, the only thing they can do to satisfy their ego a little bit is at least tag you. But he running, getting 10, 15 yards at a time, and then he run out of bounds. You're like, damn. So, and on top of that, they got bruisers, dog. Like, they mauling Los Angeles, bro. I mean, Keyshawn Johnson, one of the commentators, said Baltimore is like The Wire. That stupid ass show. Anyway, but Baltimore is like The Wire. And he said the Los Angeles Rams like Melrose Place. Ooh, I was like, damn. Hey, that was a fucked up comparison, dog. Like, that was like, ooh. Any Rams fans that heard that be like, hey, bro. I mean, that might be true, but dog, you ain't got to say it like that. You basically saying Baltimore hardcore and we some prissy ass punks. Kind of how you play, you know, but you can't help it, man. Baltimore, like, they like some bears, bro. They mauling them, dude. Like, it's devastating, man.
That's pretty much it. That's everything you need to know right there about the game. Also, big shout out to Mark Ingram, who really took Lamar in his wing in a sense. He ran 15 attempts, 111 yards and a touchdown himself. He's just been playing bully ball. He was out there looking like what is his name? He played for the Steelers, the Bus. Out there looking like Jerome Bennis. Man, it was crazy. It was an overall dominant game. It looked like the game against the Dolphins we won. Like it was amazing, man. It was amazing. It was amazing to watch. Go check the highlights. Well, I'm showing you the highlights. Just enjoy these highlights and Lamar something else. So I was gonna lead this show with Dwayne Haskins because this dude is something else. So he got his first win. And he got his first win, and instead of going out there to take a knee, he was taking pictures with the fans. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but that's not how we do it in the NFL. You have to go out there and be more professional than that. That's just unacceptable. If we did that in high school, we'd be running wind sprints probably right after the game. So you got to be better than that. But let's get into the game. I'm actually surprised they won. Their defense played pretty decent. Now, granted, who did they play against? I can't remember who they played against, but they played against the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. They played decent enough to win. The defense played decent enough to win, but Dwayne Haskins missed a lot of big throws. Like, he missed a throw in the first half that set up a touchdown, and he missed a couple of first downs that were big killers, man. Like, he played okay, but he had a long way to go in terms of being like a franchise guy. Now, we see what Lamar is doing and how awful Lamar looked in the Chargers game. So it's possible, but 16 for 29, 156 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. I said it last week, and I don't like saying it. He looks like Geno Smith. And it's not necessarily a bad thing because I think Geno Smith's still in the league, but you don't want to be compared to Geno Smith. But yeah, he got the win, so that's all that matters. And we'll see what they do going forward. So we have the Seahawks. Now, the Seahawks played Philly, and I watched this game. Philly did everything in their power to not win that game. And the Seahawks just had a cleaner game. They pretty much won strictly off turnovers. Like, I think the Eagles had like 3-4 turnovers, and I think that they scored on all of them. The Seahawks scored on all of them. Played decent. And like I said about Like I said about Russell Wilson, he's not playing bad. He's just not playing eye-popping numbers no more. These are Jacoby Brissett numbers. 13 for 25, 200 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Like, those are not MVP numbers. And that's why he's failed, and Lamar's like right here. So, but the thing that's saving Wilson is that he's still winning. So if he was losing these games, he'd be completely out of the conversation by now. So like I said, 13 for 25, 200 yards, touchdown and a pick. Did just enough to win. His guy, Rashard Penny, he relied on the running game a lot. Rashard Penny had 129 yards and a touchdown. So there's really not too much to say. There's really not too much to say about the game because the Eagles did everything they power to not make it close. And even though it was close for the most part, you just never thought the Eagles were going to win. So, but that's not Russell Wilson or the Seahawks' fault. So moving on to a guy who should be in the MVP discussion, but he's not because he keeps turning the ball over, is Jameis Winston. Their special teams is god awful. Like, I'm watching certain plays, and the special teams just did not set them up very well to be successful. So, but even then, Jameis Winston could have played better. I saw Instagram. What was it on Instagram? I think it was on Instagram. There's like only Jameis Winston could throw a touchdown and a pick in the first minute of the game, and somebody was like, at least he's consistent. So that's true. 3 things are true in life: death, taxes, and Jameis Winston is going to throw a critical interception. So I've never heard of Chris Godwin, but this dude made some incredible catches. 7 receptions, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they end up winning 35 to 22. But they's playing Atlanta, and you know how awful Atlanta is. So, take that for what it's worth. His numbers: 18 for 28, 313 yards, 3 TDs, and 2 interceptions. He had some runs in his game. He had that old man Jacoby Brissett run. And I was like, oh wow, look at you. So, they played Atlanta. They did what they were supposed to do. If they don't have those 2 picks, that game is over much earlier than it actually was over. And so everybody else covered this game. Undisputed was about. That's all Undisputed was about. They might as well call it Cowboys versus Patriots Day. That's all Undisputed was about. So if I grab some footage for a stuff video, that's probably what it'll be about. And then Lamar. So we have Dak Prescott. They played in bad weather. Like, you watching the telecast, and you can see that the weather is bad. Hopefully I can get a right read on it editing. But the conditions were awful. But that don't change the fact that you got to get the ball in the end zone. If they get the ball in the end zone once, they win their game. They win their game. Special teams failed them because Jason Garrett can't coach. But Dak Prescott has to play better in big games. He has to play better in big games. He has not shown up. He has not shown up in big games yet. He looks like Lamar Jackson in when he's playing the Dolphins or the Redskins. But then he looked like he looks like Mason Rudolph when he plays against teams that actually have NFL players. So, but his numbers: 13 for 33, 212 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Dak, you have to play better than that. I don't care if it's bad conditions. You want $40 million, you have to play better than that. You got to get your team in the and you have to get your team in the end zone at least once. At least once. You get them in there at least once, and you can win that game. And people are talking about, oh my God, Dak Prescott. But I will say, Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the NFC East, because I don't know what I meant to talk about this in the Seattle breakdown. I don't see what people see in Carson Wentz. Like, I don't like agreeing with Skip, but he is Carson, W-I-N-C, Wentz. Like, I don't see a big deal with him. He looks average at best. Now, he might still be hurt, but Who knows? We'll see. So they still lead the division even with the loss. So, and the Patriots won another one, unfortunately. But Dak gave him the game. You have to get your team in the end zone if you want to be that $40 million guy. Aaron Rodgers win those games. Obviously, Tom Brady won that game. I feel like Peyton Manning would have won a game like that. Excuse me. You have to win that game. And these numbers here are not good enough to win that game. So, this is a longer video because Lamar was spectacular. So that's it, y'all. Don't know if I have a stuff video coming out this week. Nah, I'm not sure yet, but I expect to have one out. I got a new series I'm going to start. I'll tell you more about that when I get it together. Y'all have a good night, good day, whatever part of Tuesday I post it, and y'all be good, y'all.